thought I would share some like media consumption updates with you. Just things that I've been reading, things that I've been watching on TV and films, things that I've been listening to, like podcasts, audiobooks, all that stuff. And yeah, I hope that that is helpful for you, because what's funny is I can create great TBR lists for each month. And most of the time, I don't usually follow them unless I'm reading a project book. In that case, I will very much like stick with that plan and kind of revise and edit the other books that I'm reading as needed. But this month's TBR, I think there's only one book on this list that was actually on my TBR that I'm reading right now. So let me give you some reading updates. Before I do that, the perfume that I have been wearing a lot recently is Parisian Musk by Montier Premier. Okay, so this perfume is interesting to me because I love fig. Fig tends to be pretty polarizing. Some people really love it, some people really don't like it. I love fig. I love it so much, especially in my home. In fact, like my home signature scent is this diffuser from Jo Malone. It's fresh fig and cassis, and it's like a home diffuser thing. My favorite. They also make one of my favorite fig candles in their Townhouse collection. The other favorite fig candle that I love so much is the fig candle from Guerlain. Both extremely expensive, but the most high quality, beautiful home scents ever. Back to perfume. This perfume is so interesting to me because there is no note of fig in here at all. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this perfume is such an enigma because all I smell is fig. There's ambroxan. It's very creamy. There are figs like Philoxikos that are very green. There are figs like this that are very, very fresh and earthy and beautiful and milky. This is like the milkiness of the fig is what I get the most, which I find just like intoxicating and addictive, and especially in warmer weather when it's sweltering hot and you want to wear something that is like a breath of fresh air but still have that like je ne sais quoi. Parisian Musk. I think I did a video a while ago about like perfumes that Clarice Lispector would wear, and I feel like this is definitely like something that she would wear. Kind of like almost the inverse of a perfume, but something that is deeply complex and yeah, no plot, just vibes is kind of like what this gives, but I'm loving it so much. Good memories with this scent too, so highly recommend if you're into like a milky fig, and if you're looking for another like late summer perfume, this is a great late summer perfume. And so is Pulp by Byredo, which is a very plummy, fruity, rich, like summer scent. It smells like fruit on the verge of rotting, stone fruit on the verge of rotting. I really like it though. Okay, reading update time. So I was searching high and low for this edition of The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir, and a dear follower, and I cannot remember exactly who it was who sent me the link to find this book, but I found it and I'm so happy. I am so happy for this version. It is so beautiful. Arguably like one of my favorite editions of a book that I have, period. So very excited about this one. I started this. This is basically a collection of 3 novellas about women at various like emotional stages during their emotional unraveling. And I feel like de Beauvoir is an author, great show, who has this gift for writing about self-deception and quiet despair in a way that feels both painfully specific but also universally recognizable. So you're right there with these women as they circle the edges of loneliness and aging and betrayal, and question who they are when the scaffolding of, you know, their relationships and roles that they play in their lives falls away. So this to me is not really just a portrait of women in crisis. It's about the subtle ways that identity erodes and how we often try desperately to hold on to this specific version of ourselves. My dear friend Alex, Soggy Rice 3, sent me this book, and I have been loving this so much. I feel like I need this right now in my life. This is Franny and Zoe. And every time I revisit this, I feel like I'm meeting it at a new stage in my life. Franny's spiritual exhaustion, like that moment where everything feels performative and hollow, that feeling used to feel like very dramatic to me, but now it feels very real and very human. A very human threshold that people cross in their 20s. And Zoe's like half impatient, half tender attempts to pull her out of it are just so beautifully human. And I think Salinger just writes conversation the way that people actually talk when they're trying to save someone they love from themselves. This is a new acquisition. This is How to Live by Sarah Bakewell. And this is the, like, essentially Montaigne's life and philosophy framed as an answer to the question, how should we live? The reason I picked this up is because this is one of Anthony Bourdain's favorite books, and I also love Sarah Bakewell. If you are wanting to get into philosophy, I recently read At the Existentialist Cafe. Highly recommend, because this is just a very approachable philosophical book. The beauty of this book, though, is how casual it feels. It's, like I said, part biography, part philosophy. But never in like a prescriptive way. It feels like sitting with an old friend who has made peace with life's contradictions. And this I have been enjoying so much recently. It's really about making peace with life's contradictions. And I think someone who can hold tragedy and humor in the same breath is something that like she writes very well. And she writes with such warmth that even when she's talking about heavy topics like death or loss, it feels strangely comforting. So this is the book that I am still reading from my TBR, and it's First Love. This is a Russian literature book, and it's a short book, but it carries the weight of a lifetime because it is about a young man's first infatuation and how that love, which is both fragile and overwhelming and doomed, shapes him. This author writes first love without romanticizing it, and he shows how it can be both intoxicating and just quietly brutal at the same time. And reading this has felt like watching sunlight fade in real time. Like, you know that the moment can't last, and I think that's what makes it so beautiful. So I have been enjoying this a lot. I'm sure you guys know who Mina Lay is. She's one of my favorite YouTubers, and she recommended in one of her Substack posts the Nora Ephron book, I Feel Bad About My Neck. I love Nora Ephron, and I didn't buy the book, but I downloaded the audiobook, and I've been listening to this, and it just feels like Nora is in the room speaking directly to you, and she's hilarious, but also deeply perceptive about aging, friendship, cooking, love, and the very specific anxieties that come with being a person who cares about words and aesthetic and appearances. And it is so perfectly Ephron, very witty, self-deprecating, sharper than you would expect, and something that I have been needing in my life, and it's just been fun to listen to while I clean or while I walk or do any of the sort. I also want to recommend a podcast to you guys, which is The Critics at Large by The New Yorker. This is my favorite podcast of all time. I also like Philosophize This, but Critics at Large is probably my favorite, and it just scratches the same itch as a really good, delicious, long-form essay. It's smart, but it's not stuffy. I love the way they approach culture, whether it's a new film, a book, a broader trend. It's a mix of rigor and curiosity, and I always walk away from an episode feeling like I have been a part of a conversation I wish I could have gone on for hours. I adore these critics. I adore The New Yorker. I love what they talk about, and it always makes me feel smarter. Okay, when it comes to watching, I have some good shows that I want to recommend you. The first one is The Nanny. And if you have not heard this show, I highly recommend it because I have been on a full Franny Fine rewatch, and it is making me appreciate how precise the show's sense of style and comedy really is. I think Franny Fine, her wardrobe, her personality, everything is just like wearable art. It's so bold and unapologetic and full of personality, and the humor just feels so timeless in a way that is rare for 90s sitcoms. It's just pure serotonin. And if you are a New Yorker, or if you have an affinity for like New York rom-coms and stuff like that, I recommend this, The Nanny. And it's on Prime Video, I believe. It disappeared for a while, but now it's back. I have also watched recently Heartburn, the one from 1986 with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson, because it's just messy and funny and bittersweet about marriage falling apart. It's based off of Nora Ephron's first divorce, and it's just tender and like toxic in equal measure. But it still has that like Nora Ephron charm for making pain feel like something that you can survive and laugh about. And I think I'm on a Nora Ephron kick, like as I look at this list, because the next show that I've been watching a lot is Felicity, which is just like the quintessential late 90s, early 2000s college drama. And I think because I'm also in my mind, like in back to school mode, so maybe that's why I'm craving that. But it just is the right mix of earnestness and questionable decisions, and it's about self-discovery, heartbreak, and the growing pains of just figuring out who you are, being away from home for the first time maybe. So love that. I've also been watching a lot of Ina Garten, so like Barefoot Contessa, and when I want something grounding, I put on Ina. She's like the anti-chaos that lives in my brain, roasting chicken and arranging flowers and mixing cocktails, all while looking like the most serene person alive. She is everything that I aspire to be one day. And like, I think that she's the quiet, aspirational figure of comfort, and watching someone live so beautifully and simply, and I love it. I love Ina Garten so much. So I hope that was helpful. I hope this little like media report was fun for you guys. I feel like I consume a lot of media. I am chronically online, but I am not chronically online for social media. I am very much online for like articles and stuff that's like feeding my brain. And this has been one of the most positive shifts that I have made in my life, is just sorting through the chaos of the online world in a way that feeds me, not depletes me. So I get a lot of joy sharing recommendations like this with you, because I think being online can be such a terrible place, but there's also a lot of beauty in it. So if I can share anything that can make your week brighter, or make you feel a little bit smarter, or walk away with a little nugget of wisdom or comfort, I'm happy to do so. So let me know if you've read any of these, if you want to read any of these, or watch or listen to all the stuff that I recommended. So grateful and excited to tell you that this video was in partnership with Chanel, and I truly felt like Mia Thermopolis from The Princess Diaries when they sent me this package in the mail. Like, I actually cried, kind of like ugly cried, because so many things in this box are so sentimental to me. And I have so many fond memories as a young girl just running around department stores with my mom, like sampling things that I know I could never afford. And truly, it means so much to me. And I want to talk to you about some of the things in this box. I can't wait to share them with you. So starting with the Sublimage skincare, like I mentioned, when I was younger, I used to go to the Chanel counter with my mom, and I just remember staring at this line. Obviously, I was way too young for it, but I stared at these creams like they were treasures. And I just remember my mom would get samples, and I would put some on the back of my hand so I could smell it and just pretend like I was doing my skincare with her. And it just felt like a shared tiny ritual and a touch of luxury and just a special moment in between us. So to receive these now, years later, just feels very emotional for me. Like it's very full circle. This Ultimate Texture cream. And they also sent the eye cream as well, which smells exactly how I remembered it. It's very ambery and clean, but also warm and floral. And it's like, I feel like I'm being cared for, like elegance without effort. They also sent me the décolletage cream as well to put on my chest and on my neck. Each of these just feels very timeless, but also different and very Chanel. They also sent me 3 of their L'Exclusifs perfumes. The first one, curated, is the perfect balance of softness and edge. There's orange blossom and mandarin and bergamot. It's very bright and citrusy, but it deepens into jasmine, rose, tobacco, and leather. It's very classic and smoky and elegant, and it just smells like an old soul in the best way. Boy is a very clean, almost barbershop type of fragrance. There's lavender, grapefruit, lemon. There's also orange and rose, and there's sandalwood and vanilla and heliotrope. It's very gentle and confident and genderless, and it's the kind of scent that you wear when you want to feel grounded and like yourself. Lastly, we have Misia, which is very romantic and powdery and velvety, and it just opens with aldehydes and lychee. There's Turkish rose, raspberry, and peach, and the dry down is soft iris, tonka bean, leather, and violet, and it smells like silk and lipstick and old letters, and it's vintage in its spirit, but still very fresh and feminine and beautiful. I have 3 other L'Exclusifs from Chanel, which I love, and I love wearing all year round. I would say out of all the Chanel fragrances, my absolute favorite is Le Lion, but I highly recommend exploring all the different scents and finding one that speaks to you. This whole package, the skincare, the fragrance, the thoughtfulness, just made me feel really seen, like Chanel remembered the girl that I used to be and honored the woman that I've become, and I'm so grateful. So thank you, Chanel. This was truly unforgettable. I am so cozy right now. I'm very cozy with you today because I am wearing my favorite t-shirt. I am wearing a beautiful perfume. I'm wearing Lover by the maker, which is fig. I think we have like a fig thing going on this week. But this is like fig, wood, pepper, vanilla, narcissus. It's very cozy. It's making me crave autumn. But this is my favorite maker scent. It's called Lover. So I'm cozy. I have my cozy shirt on, my cozy perfume. I'm feeling very cozy today. So I actually wanted to tell you about an essay that I wrote on Substack titled "The Loneliest Place in the World is Your For You page." So I've been, on Substack, I write a lot of like nonfiction style essays about topics and things that I find interesting and compelling, and I have a point of view that I want to share, but it's a little bit more structured and it's more structured. But I am starting to write more in my journal voice, which is a lot more lyrical. It's the same vibe, but more lyrical, more poetic, more raw, more like me. and I've been very much enjoying it a lot. I would love to write a book one day, and I think, I've been toying with a lot of different ideas. I've stopped and started so many books, but I think my first book, I would love to be like this collection of essays where I can talk about philosophical topics and love and intimacy and existentialism and religion and just what it means to be alive, but very much in a poetic, lyrical voice. I think so many philosophy books are written by like dead white guys, and I would love to be a woman in this space. Even though I am not an expert, I'm a wannabe philosophizer, but I do enjoy writing a lot, and I think it would be cool to have this like collection of essays in a book form that makes people feel understood. Okay, but my essay. I think about loneliness a lot and how it really has become, it has stopped becoming something that we meet in quiet rooms or on empty streets, and instead it's become something that we carry with us through this glowing screen, the one that you're looking at right now. It's this strange new version of isolation, and it's something that one never has to break because the feed keeps feeding it. The algorithm learns our pauses and our hesitations and the exact faces and colors that we will linger on. It can feel intimate, like being known, but it's not intimacy. It's a mirror with no warmth. It's really the perfect listener, but it doesn't have a mouth. And in the essay, I really talk about how the feed gives us the performance of connection. Strangers nodding along to our pain, and people performing joys in ways that make us think that we could borrow it, like it's ours. Really, opinions that are sharpened for applause rather than truth. But I think the thing about this performance is that it never asks anything real from us. And it also offers nothing real in return. I think, the true connection that you build in person is so much harder. It's imperfect and it's unpredictable, and it misreads you, it interrupts you, it makes you explain yourself. It's two lives that are trying to meet in the middle, and sometimes that fails, but it's alive. And it's alive in a way that your For You page and your feed will never be. And so much of the essay is about what happens when we decide to take our hunger somewhere that the algorithm cannot follow. Whether it's into into a room where music is being made, or into a book that doesn't care if you finish it or not, or into a conversation that moves into a direction that could never be scripted. And while the loneliest place in the world might be your For You page, I think the only way out is to love something or someone that could never be archived by the internet. So that's kind of the gist of it. But I feel like it resonates with so many of us because we are all so desperate for connection and love, both platonic and romantic, and that connection that we can never, ever, ever feel on the internet. And the only thing that we have left that could never be replicated is ourselves and art and the things that we create and all of that stuff. So I thought it was interesting. Maybe you will too. Maybe you will feel understood in a way. So I'll put that in the description for your reference if you want to check it out. It's free. But anyways, I think that we are just connection starved, myself included, and I say that as an introvert. And I think there are enough think pieces out in the ether, including Substack and Medium and all of these places where everyone is just sad and lonely, and we need to get off the screen. I also just think that we are so creatively starved. I think we need to find ways to be more creative off the screen, like museums, magazines. I love magazines so much, old magazines. Like, we need to be going to more museums. We need to be surrounding ourselves with other artists and people who appreciate the beauty in different art forms, art of all forms, to kind of get our minds back, because I think our minds are being hijacked right now. Anyways, this is my yap of the day, and I'm going to stop yapping because I could go on and I don't want to bore you to death. So I will leave you with this. But I don't know if this is going to be my last clip of this YouTube video. If it is, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe. I will love and appreciate you forever. Please share this with your friends if you would like. And if this is the last video of today's video, have a good week, and I will see you next week. Hello, I just made a video for TikTok about all of my summer to autumn transition perfumes, and it's making me so excited. And I'm going against everything that I stood for about like not rushing summer and being patient and resisting the temptation to wear autumn scents. But here I am with 1996 by Byredo. This is my favorite Byredo scent. Unfortunately, I think my bottle turned. And I love this so much that I would not be opposed to getting a brand new bottle of it, because I want to wear it, especially this year. I think if New York City had a smell, this is what it would smell like. It's like a jazzy bar. Like you're going out with just a few of your best girlfriends and nobody's screaming over each other at the club. It's just sophisticated at elegance. Or, you know, like Bemelman's bar. That's what this smells like. Live piano jazz, mocktails. I don't drink. Bar snacks, and just like light conversation. Or a solo date. Solo date at a jazz bar with a book and a mocktail and a snack. Oh God. I love this so much. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I miss this. As much as I love autumn, I am so deeply tied to my olfactive senses with memory and all of that, that I refuse. I will not wear this right now. I can't. I won't. I refuse. Because then the memory of this will be associated with a summer day, a sunny summer day. And I say that with a sad face. I don't want that with this. I want a jazzy bar with this thing. Anywho, I have other fragrances that I was kind of featuring. This is another great one, Falling Trees by Regime de Fleur. I already talked about this, I think, earlier in this video, in this YouTube video, is Lover. Oh God, this is so good too. Lover by The Maker. This is a fig vanilla. Also my favorite Le Labo scent, which is Gaiac 10. All of these like summer to fall transition perfumes have very similar notes. Lots of cedar, lots of juniper berries. Like both 1996 and Orpheon have juniper and cedar. And another incredible one is Ground by Gabar. Perfect. Lots of fig too. These two, Lover and Ground, both have fig in there. I'm also thinking deeply about the literature that I plan to read in autumn. I know that in autumn, I go on a deep, pretentious philosophical bender, and the only thing I want to read is philosophy. In the most pretentious, non-pretentious way. Like I have a fat stack of Nietzsche that I need to go through. yeah, I'm like curating all of my stuff right now, and I feel behind already, but I'm very excited because this is my favorite time of year, and it is the best time to read. Autumn and winter, I don't care what anyone says, I love winter. Those months, those seasons are for readers. All of the Burr months, those are for readers. And I can't wait to share all of my recommendations. Nobody asked, but I'm going to share them with you anyway, because I have some good ones, especially if you're wanting to get into philosophy or classics for the fall. I have recommendations for days. Perfume too. Not sponsored, not obligated to post without, I was not obligated to talk about this, but this was a gift from Eccentric Molecules. And I think that they got tired of me like spamming them because I talk about Molecule 01 in almost every fragrance video, just because I literally wear it every single day, and I've probably gone through a ridiculous amount of bottles. Even when I wear other perfume, like I still wear Molecule. They sent quite a few things, but I want to show you this because I thought the concept was incredibly brilliant, which is the atomizers that they just came out with. Now, this is tiny. You can fit this in your purse. And what you do is you twist it and the little nozzle comes up and it comes out. I thought this was brilliant. Like a little twisty cap. Because before, they didn't have caps, which frustrated the living shit out of me. And now that they have this twisty like contraption, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. You know what's funny is, out of all the perfumes that I own, on a day that I don't feel like wearing perfume, like I will just wear Molecule because it's so easy and I usually can't smell it on myself. But I shit you not, oops, sorry. I get compliments on Molecule 01 just by herself more than probably any other fragrance. It's kind of insane. So this will forever be my signature scent. And it's like the rotating three, the Holy Trinity. There's Molecule 01, there's Portrait of a Lady, and then the other third one kind of like goes back and forth depending on the season. But like those two perfumes for me, Portrait and Molecule, are my children. And I love them equally, but also just thank you times 1.5 million to Eccentric Molecules. They're sending me a few others of the Plus series, like the Plus Iris, Plus Ginger, Plus Black Tea. My voice is gone, almost, which I couldn't recommend enough. If you can't get behind regular Molecule, go smell the Plus series and you will fall in love with one of them, I promise you.